You won't believe what millions of people saw that morning. A moment that began with hope, pride, and excitement, but ended in shock, silence, and heartbreak. It was a cold January morning in 1986. The sky was clear, calm, almost too perfect. At the launch site, a giant spacecraft stood tall, silent, powerful, waiting. Across America, people gathered around their televisions, in homes, in offices, and in classrooms filled with curious children. Because this launch was different. This wasn't just another mission to space. This was history in the making.
For the first time, a teacher was going to space. A symbol of hope. A reminder that even ordinary people could reach beyond the sky. You won't believe how excited everyone was. In classrooms, students sat closer than ever before, eyes wide open, hearts full of wonder. Their teacher smiled, trying to stay calm, but deep down, even they felt the magic of the moment. Back at the launch pad, the countdown had begun. 10, 9, 8. Every second felt heavier than the last. 7, 6, 5. The world was watching. 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. A thunderous roar broke the silence. Flames burst from beneath the shuttle. Clouds of smoke rolled across the ground, and slowly, powerfully, it began to rise. You won't believe how beautiful it looked. The rocket climbed higher and higher, leaving behind a trail of white smoke across the endless blue sky. People cheered, clapped, some even cried tears of joy. It was more than just a launch. It was a dream coming true. But then, something felt off. At first, it was small, almost unnoticeable. A strange flicker, a tiny disturbance in the trail. Most people didn't even notice it. But within seconds, everything changed. You won't believe how fast hope turned into horror. A sudden flash, then another. And in an instant, the sky exploded. A massive fireball tore through the blue sky. The shuttle shattered into pieces, fragments scattering in every direction. The white smoke trail twisted into chaos, forming a haunting shape across the sky. And just like that, it was over. 73 seconds. That's all it took. 73 seconds to turn a moment of triumph into tragedy. Across America, silence fell. In classrooms, children stopped moving. Their smiles disappeared. Confusion filled their eyes. Teachers stood frozen, unable to speak. In homes, families stared at their screens, trying to understand what they had just seen. No one wanted to believe it. No one was ready for it. 7 people were on that shuttle. 7 lives. 7 dreams. 7 stories that would never be completed. Among them, a teacher.
someone who believed in inspiring the next generation, someone who carried the hopes of millions of students out of their country. And in a single moment, everything was gone. You won't believe what caused this.
It wasn't a massive failure. It wasn't a dramatic explosion waiting to happen. It was something small, a simple component, a rubber seal known as an O-ring. Because of the freezing cold weather, it failed. A tiny gap formed. Hot gases escaped, and that was enough. Enough to destroy everything. It's hard to imagine something so small causing something so devastating. But what made it even more heartbreaking was this. You won't believe. They had been warned. Before the launch, some engineers raised concerns. They spoke about the cold. They spoke about the risks. They asked for a delay. But their voices weren't heard. Or maybe they were ignored. Decisions were made. Schedules had to be kept. Pressure was high. And in the end, that decision cost 7 lives. After the disaster, America changed. The excitement of space exploration was replaced with grief. Memorials were held. Candles were lit. Flowers covered the ground. Families mourned. A nation mourned. The sky, once a symbol of hope, now carried a painful memory. But even in tragedy, there was something else. A lesson. You won't believe how this moment changed the future. Investigations began. Questions were asked. And slowly, answers came. Safety became the top priority. Every detail, every part, every decision was re-examined. Because people realized something important. In space, there is no room for error. But beyond the technology, something deeper changed. People began to understand the cost of ambition, the weight of responsibility, and the importance of listening. Even to the smallest voice, even to the quietest warning. Years passed, but that day was never forgotten. Ask anyone who saw it, and they'll tell you exactly where they were, what they felt, what they lost. Because it wasn't just a disaster. It was a moment that stopped time. A moment that reminded the world how fragile life can be. And yet, how powerful the human spirit is. You won't believe how this story still inspires people today. The dreams of those 7 individuals didn't disappear. They lived on. In students who chose science. In dreamers who looked at the stars. In every mission that followed. Safer. Stronger. Wiser. Because of them. Because of what happened that day. We learned. We grew. We moved forward. The sky burned that morning. But it didn't take away our dreams. It changed them. Made them stronger. More careful. More human. And maybe that's the most important part of this story. Not the explosion. Not the tragedy. But what came after? The courage to continue. The strength to learn. And the hope to rise again. Because even after everything, the sky still calls us, and we still answer.